But if Jeff Bezos is just a guy who just happens to have a lot of money and power because he's actively made harmful choices, the idea of dismantling his empire and defeating him feels a lot more real and possible.
Yeah, he's just a guy. Hit him with your car.
Dude. Yeah. Gabe, you can't say that on TV. Okay. But hi, I'm Kay.
And I'm Gabe. And we're the Ghouls Next Door.
Talking
about spooky stuff. Like,
yeah.
The rich. They be doing everything.
Yeah. Especially forever. I feel like I'm especially right now, but forever.
Right, forever.
There's peasant revolts historically.
Right. And it's about that time. Time.
The wars are going to keep happening, and the rich are going to keep being evil until they don't be here.
Maybe have a head to do about it. No heads or tails to make of it.
Yeah. Who am I?
All right. Happy summer, our Ghoul Scouts. Thank you for being patient with us as we took a little break. But now we're kicking into high gear. We're bringing back an oldie but a goodie and continuing horror, which is our Eat the Rich series. Because they give us so many reasons to be hungry. Just, hankering for some justice.
Yeah.
And it seems like that thread is kind of on a lot of people's minds because
there's a lot of movies lately, especially that have been saying some stuff about it.
Yeah, this month the 2 episodes we're covering came out this year, and we had to run to the theaters to see them. So we seen them for you. We're going to share them with you, and then next month we have some a little bit older and somewhat still recent episodes for you, but it is a constant. It's a constant thought. It's just the rich have to be doing something sketchy, and they are always, right? And is it also sinister evils, or is it just regular people evils?
Yeah, and is it a bit of both?
Right. We all learn that it is. Yeah.
If being good is a choice, so is being bad. And unfortunately, for many rich people, the choices that they make are pretty much actively bad. No matter what their intentions are. That super doesn't matter when their impact is a lot of harm.
Right.
Or death of people. It's just why'd you do that? Accountability.
Right. This episode specifically, so we're talking about Ready or Not 2, Here I Come. And in this we get an expansion on the lore and story that we got in the first one, and we do get to see more of these corrupt families, and it is very much they never stood a chance. These young people did not stand a chance when that's what they're born into, versus people who come into it and maybe have some humanity and goodness in them. They just never did. You can't.
Yeah, it's the corruption of both the wealth and then also the soul that is lost on the path to wealth. So for the family members who were the originators of getting the wealth, how that lack of morality and the costs that they paid impacted how they parent, how they treat their kids, the limits that they set for them, the neglect that takes place.
Yeah.
A lot of things that, it's our responsibility to heal from our traumas. I think a lot of the things that they were doing were choices, but
for sure.
Also, it's
not an excuse.
In a lot of ways, they didn't super have many options. I mean, if you're signed into the devil cult before you're born,
their families were just in it,
Yeah, so it's the kid or whatever. I mean, he did do his own little time, but it wasn't super his fault, at least in the sense that he was a child and did not actively choose to be.
Yeah, and he was also desensitized, right? He was set up. Yeah, and I think that's the interesting part of this. So, Ready or Not is one of the Ghouls' favorites. We had so much fun watching that one, and it was I did try to go back to see our script, and there isn't one. Back in the day
it's from all the way back then.
It's back when we were just having fun, and so it is funny to revisit it now, and for it to take place like immediately after, it's like, first of all, Samara Weaving, wow, doesn't age a day. Never seen,
Yeah.
has never heard of a year, and
Uh-huh.
she's significantly more famous than she was. She's well earned the scream queen kind of idea, and Catherine Newton too is also very much a scream
Yeah.
queen. So both of them were great picks. Though my one gripe I told Kay was like, there are so many actors who look just like Samara Weaving, and I get that they're going to be younger, but I was like, you got Margot Robbie right there. I was like, there's like several like actresses out there right now where I feel like if you just put them in a line, I'd be like, that one.
So, blonde hair, brown eyebrows. It's
she's out there. So I was just like, oh dang. But I think they did great. Like Catherine Newton's just a fun actress, and she really thrives in the horror genre. So like solid. Super solid. Having both of them in there playing.
I think in my section I'm like, I didn't ask for this or even know I wanted it, but I was happy it happened.
Yeah, it turned out we needed it. We needed that catharsis, and we were provided with that twice. In one before summer, we got it in spring. Slasher spring. Okay.
No, literally though, and it's like the world's so on fire, so sometimes it's nice to just have like that was such a fun time. Heal something. As you said, the catharsis, or it's just kind of need it because life.
So yeah, someone's got to get it. Awesome. Let's hop in so I can tell you about Ready or Not 2. Here I come. I'll start by saying like you gotta go watch it. It's so fun, and it's a great group watch because it's silly and gory and just like it's having fun, and they're doing a little bit more than they did the first time. I don't know if we really needed it. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Kay, where I was like, I didn't really ask for this. I was totally content with having the one.
With the first one.
And I was like,
did it.
That was great. Perfect. No notes. And then this time I was like, whoa, okay, that was nice. I was just like, okay. So absolutely no complaints. Elijah Wood is phenomenal. I think he kind of stole this show. So it was great. It was wonderfully casted. Everyone seems to be having a fun time. And so I highly, highly recommend for your summer slasher series, if you're, getting some of those watches in to celebrate the spooky season a little early. I love to do that. Grab some friends, put on Ready or Not 2. And do a double feature. That's definitely Ready or Not 2, and They Will Kill You. And watch Ready or Not 2 first.
Otherwise it'll ruin it. Because they're just like, you need to do it in that order for sure.
Awesome. So Ready or Not 2, Here I Come is from 2026, happened this year, just a few weeks ago for us. After surviving one deadly game, Grace and her sister Faith must now outrun 4 rival families competing for a powerful throne. Winner takes all, and is directed by Matt Bettinelli, Olpin, and Tyler Gillett. Or Gillets. I don't know. I'll get more into what happens. And sorry, then I'll give you a little blurb of what I feel. But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't got a lot because, you get what you get. And I'm not upset at all. It's like totally perfect. Live. But as it said, after surviving a night of torment at the hands of her brand new wealthy in-laws, Grace is once again confronted by the sinister evil antics of the elite as they hunt her down. Only this time, she's not the only victim, as her emergency contact and previously forgotten sister, not ever mentioned in the first one, Faith, has been chained, literally, to her.
It's rough, buddy.
Also pretty cute. Very sweet. And you gotta have a little pulse of this. Get through some of this. With the absurdly wealthy and obviously evil Adonis family out of the picture, the High Council is kicked into gear after an ancient clause is activated in their sinister satanic contract. These wealthy families must compete in their own game of hide and seek, competing against each other for the reigning seat of this twisted order. Now they want to be the big person on top, and they got to kill these literally poor people to do so. What follows is a punchy, gore-filled, and brutal sequel to a beloved horror classic. Grace and Faith run for their life across the spongy green acreage of golf courses and hotel lawns, all while being pursued by violent trust fund maniacs with weapons of old and new, because each family can only use weapons that were available during the time period when they were their family joined the High Council.
Yeah.
Which I thought was like a fun.
No, I totally agree.
Because then you could see like when they came in and like like, why did it take you so long to get some of this representation in here? But fun. But Ready or Not 2, Here I Come treats its audience to hilarious and over-the-top villains. Sarah Michelle Gellar and Sean Hatosi play complicated twins raised under the controlling and traditional Daddy Danforth, who's been leading this evil cabal for generations. Other competitors include a young boy obsessed with video games, a spurned lover of Grace's ex-dead husband, and a strategic woman with a katana. She's got a plan, and she was badass, but she was also evil. Like, it kind of comes back to it, where you think she's like, she's not on our side. She's just trying to trick the system, and she's just going to benefit one of us. Like I said, Elijah Wood does a brilliant job playing an aloof lawyer for Satan, instantly becoming one of the best parts of the film. Like every time they cut to him, and he's like, yep, that's in there.
I was like,
yes, all right, you're
this is what it is. Y'all signed up for this. Haha.
I'm having fun. The whole time he's just like, I don't even know if he's like human or not. It's a brutal film that puts Grace through the ringer. She thought
the first time was rough.
They be putting her through it, and for most of it, I'll say, Faith is almost untouched until the very end, and they make up for lost time.
Yeah, they sure do. Because
ouch. And while the deaths of her foes are a fun mix of absurd, clever, and disgusting, it doesn't soften the literal blows to the sisters. It was rough sometimes. It's a relentless assault that keeps that high energy the entire film, while also peppering in some soft moments between the sisters. That was very unexpected and also weird. Giving us a bit more of a subplot than we'd been offered in the original film. And I don't know if it was needed. Grace and Faith are inarguably the heroes, and there's like no competition in that. Like there's no question if these other folks are okay. Like even
are redeemable.
Like even for the minute where like our katana wielding woman is just like, here's how we could do this. It was never like, this is a good person. You know?
Yeah.
So I don't really know why we needed kind of to humanize them any more than that. Like they already were human. So kind of to me, when they had those moments where they stopped for them to like argue and bicker, I was just like, what are we doing? We gotta go. Like, you gotta put whatever that is. And then I also didn't fully understand like the bitterness between them versus like when we talk next episode about those sisters, like there's some valid feelings there, and not to disqualify the feelings that they have. I just don't know why the decisions were made that were made. Like, I don't know why they didn't talk to each other. Like, I don't know why. Whereas I do know why for the other sisters. So, and it just slowed everything down. And you're like, this is a high energy time. We gotta go. We are literally being hunted. Please.
I get into it a little bit, but I agree. It didn't add anything that crazy, right? Like in terms of like being helpful.
Yeah, but it didn't take away completely. It didn't ruin it. You know? So like it just felt like kind of weird. But overall, the film is a fun, punchy adventure with creative gore, quirky characters, and fun world building around a story that had crashed onto the horror scene and made a home there. It was very much a classic in the horror genre that people loved. So my overall section is very short. Piece is the rich are part of an evil cabal. Duh. We know this. But it's still fun to watch them get theirs. And you can kind of breathe a little bit.
In a world where that is not happening at all.
It's nice.
And it's actually really stressful and awful to watch. It was cool as heck to see a reality where they lose.
Yeah, and like that we get to laugh at them.
Yeah.
You know, like that's kind of fun. Like, look at these idiots.
Yeah.
That's fun to do. In a way that's like, this isn't actually like a detriment to my health and well-being. And the way that laughing at the idiots now in power is like, it makes you sad at the same time. You're like, look at this idiot. And I'm not laughing at them. I'm just really upset that that's how it is. You know? So it's a different dynamic from this where it could be like, ha ha ha, dum dum. Versus being like, idiot. Why do you think that? So totally needed. Ready or Not 2, Here I Come, is certainly a fun romp of intense violence, gore, and comedy. And while I don't think anyone asked for this film, right, the first one was brilliant on its own, horror fans still flocked to theaters to watch it, myself included. I did not have a lot of time, and I was like, "Hey, we gotta go." One of our first like pictures with the Ghouls of like going to like screenings is in front of a Ready or Not standing.
Yeah. Because I think we saw it like as a part of an event or something. We saw like they were doing like a special showing. Yeah.
So I'm like, that has like a special place in our like Ghouls hearts. And
so our lore.
When it came up, I was like, we gotta go.
Yeah.
The time. So Ready or Not was like the first one was such a fun time, right? It's witty, dark humor blended perfectly with the intense violence, and it captured the brilliance of Samara Weaving before she'd really broken out into the acting world. And I'll be honest, I don't know if there's too much like to expand on with this sequel. Like, did it fully add to the world? Like, certainly in, you know, giving us these stereotypical silly villains to hate on. We got a bit more of a glimpse into the Satan worshipping elites, but I don't know if we needed that. You know, like I don't know if this film was needed. It's just like, it's nice that we got it. You know?
Yeah.
Part of the brilliance of the first one was the ambiguity of their villainy, because they spoke of Satan. Like I remember the jarring like thing of them being like, "Hail Satan," and you're like, "Whoa!" You know?
Like, oh.
And this one's like, oh, yeah, it's funny. But like that, the fact that they made a deal with the devil and unlimited power, like they talked about that for most of the film, but it was easily written off as like the delusions of the wealthy, like the truth of Satan being real and this being a real thing was not shown. It's like until the very last moments of the first film when that reality
and that was like the reveal that was like such a big, I think that lended so much to the strength of the first film was that you like were like, oh, it's probably not real, and then it was like, it was. What the heck? That was amazing.
Yeah, because it is in the last, like, it's like the last like 10 minutes, and it becomes graphically and comically clear. And it made it a really fun reveal. It's literally like it's exploding. You were like, oh shit.
Yeah, like, literally you're standing there like,
yeah, like I just remember like, that's so cool. So now that we know that the devil is not only real, but manipulating the power holders of our world, the second film had a lot to play with in that world, but could never satisfy that same punchy ending reveal of the first one, because we already know. So it was like, they just kind of didn't bother with that. They were like, yes, this is true, and now this. That being said, I am really glad that they made the film. We don't always need our media analysis classes on when watching horror, and this one does make that easy. Like, you don't need that really. It's pretty clear. We have bad guys. They're the wealthy, and here's the good guys. They're not. You know. It's okay to simply have a good time, and this film is terribly fun. It also has a bit more heart than its predecessor, humanizing Grace through her strange relationship with her sister, and it helped viewers feel that out in the end. Like, I think that was what it helped with, was like when Grace is tempted with ultimate power, right? Would she try to fix the problem from the inside, or Daenerys Targaryen voice break the wheel? You know, like what was she gonna do? So I think that ending, even as predictable as it kind of was still fun, and it was silly. Like I think everyone was just having a good time. This film also gives us a wider glimpse into the depth and world of corruption through the new contestants. We see how this evil is inherited, and the kids like never standing a chance when they've been raised to believe themselves better than others, and to have the life of the lower class be gamified. Like, if that's how they've viewed the world, that's the only way that they can survive too, is to believe that, right? Like, you don't want to grow up and believe that your whole family is evil. Or that you're evil.
It's like to cope with the reality of what you've witnessed, as you kind of, humans are very adaptable and will adjust their perspective most of the time to rationalize or normalize the behavior that they're witnessing. To stay sane, like at the end of the day.
And it's also like, if you're raised this way, it's just like, okay, one of the answers is your entire family is evil, and you are also evil, and you haven't done anything. Like, you literally just got here. You were born into this. You haven't set up these systems. You're benefiting from it. So there's like a lot of added layers to that too, of like not being able to like be in a place where you'd hold yourself accountable, or other people would hold you accountable. Because you've never been shown that. It's never been
Yeah.
modeled for you. So like that was, I think, really cool, seeing the different families and seeing like this shitty family dynamics and like people being married in and like
Yeah.
you know, and it's also funny. It's just fun sometimes to make fun of the privilege, right? It was also cool getting a glimpse into how far back these deals had been made, seeing those weapons and seeing like how long and treacherous that battle has been for power, even within the powerful. And it like just established like this long line of douchebags with far too much power. And it was even more fun to watch them fumble through the violence and get what's coming for them, because horror catharsis is my favorite. And the first one that was true was so funny because they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know how to load a gun, and they were like all doing drugs. It was hilarious. This one was like similarly hilarious, where they're like, they don't know what they're doing with this stuff, and they're being stupid. They think they're like,
they don't know what surviving is. Like that's like a play on the whole thing. It's like people who've grown up in poverty know how to fight and survive because they've literally had to. These people have never had to do that,
and make
so they
sacrifices.
Don't have any idea what they're doing. Yeah,
you know, like they're making sacrifices the whole time. They're putting their bodies through it, trying to get to the end, and then the other people are like, I can't be inconvenienced by this, and they just see themselves as literally so untouchable that it's a nice like rebalancing of the systems, right? And as I mentioned, our next episode has a similar premise of poor women versus cabal of evil rich people, and both are very funny summer horror watches, but they did leave me feeling a bit raw over the intense violence against women. Like that's definitely a horror thing, and we have talked about it, and there's parts of it that we appreciate, and then other parts where we kind of cross a line where we're like,
we're like, why do women always have to be the vessel of this?
We do. And I will say there's not like, you know, blessings. There's not sexual assault, which is, you know, small blessings in horror world. But they had, both of them had such vicious moments that made me actually queasy. And I love gore, but there's some moments where it's like, ow! Like you can only watch like a woman be straight up assaulted, punched in the face brutally and relentlessly before you need a breather. And both of them had moments like that where it was like bones crunching and just like guts. Like
they make us watch it for too long. It was very uncomfortable.
And too real. And I was just like, bruh, like, we live in this world where this happens. Yeah. Like it just felt, it was like super long. It was really rough. And I just like, I get it. We need to have like our heroes hurting. I just don't know if the audience needs to be hurting too. Like, I don't know. But it made me wonder, like, what does it say about the state of our world to feature two films out at the same time with strong women murdering the rich elite monsters of our world, right? And to see them having to go through that. Yeah. Like, we know that our real world monsters, which are almost 100% certainly part of a cabal of some sort, maybe not Satan, but there's a cabal, right? They're doing something. They're in cahoots. They have power. They're all working with each other. It's not a conspiracy anymore. We know they say like the rich people like don't have allegiance to a country. Like they are kind of to each other. They have something for each other. Yeah. But those real monsters are not so easily bested and undone by twisting their rules to our advantage, right? There are no loopholes, and there's no evil being coming to collect on promises, right? Like we're not there's no Elijah Wood for us, right? And as we said in our Fall of the House of Usher episode, sometimes you need to be the Verna that you want to see in the world. Or in this case, be the Grace and kick them in the teeth. Yeah. So that's my section. No, literally. And it's like, it was a very fun film. And I agree that there are parts that were hard to watch in that, like what they put, what's her name? Catherine? Yeah, Catherine Newton. I forgot her last name for a second. Catherine Newton, what they put her through is like really brutal in this. Like it goes on for a little too long. It was like they kept going back to it. And I was like, you're making up for lost time because she's been untouched. And I was just like, and it's like, I get like, you had to show how awful he was. Yeah. Because before he was kind of not exhibiting that. Like, but it was still a little out. Like, like
as femme folks watching the film, like
it was rough.
So I guess a trigger warning for that, even though it's like mostly just like a fun romp of gore and fun.
It has a moment, and I think like
rough.
And that actor too, because he's in the pit and he's like really sweet in the pit and people love him.
Yeah,
me too. I love him in the pit.
It was good to see his range.
Yeah, seeing him, I was like, oh, what are you doing here? And then he was like so awful, and he was just like kind of pathetic.
Yeah.
It moved from pathetic to just like straight up evil, and that I appreciated. And so I get why. I'm just like, I got it the first few minutes, you know, like, and we could have cut that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You know, like.
Well, I think like the trick is that a lot of very evil men really are just pathetic.
You know, for sure. I agree. I just think there's get some more women in the room to maybe
need some help
us out.
No, absolutely. But for my section, essentially, is humanizing our villains good or bad? Pros and cons, and how they did in this film. Because I think like it was very fun, but like, are there areas where that's a positive or negative? And I think the film did a good job. I will spoil my own section with the fact that like, I actually think they achieved the positive of it, like the pro of humanizing our villains, in the sense that like they were so wacky, but also like I believed that someone who lived that lavishly would act like that. Like that they would be so reckless both with themselves and each other because they don't have a concept of what it is to be at risk for they think they're invincible. Of course, if Elon Musk was in this room, he would be doing this in the exact same ridiculous way where he would think it was a game. Like it wouldn't be real life or death. Like, you know what I mean? Like they think it'd be like a fun haha time, and then they die because they don't know how to do anything. Like, it's literally like, I believe real rich people would play out in this way. And I think the film actually, by giving us a little bit of their backstory and like seeing how they got there, even if it was like short and kind of subtle, and it was only for the one group of siblings too, which is like its own. I think it does a good job. But as I said, Ready or Not 2, Here I Come is a sequel I definitely didn't know I needed. Like Gabe said when we first heard about it, I was like, the first one is great. Why else? What else is there to do? Yeah. But and I will say I went into it with such minimal expectations. Like I really thought, I was like, whatever this is, I think it'll be fine. But like also like I don't think I'm gonna love it. But I actually really enjoyed the ride. So a piece of that is, as Gabe said, we did not go into this with our media analysis glasses on, and that's okay. But I did try to look at it with media analysis glasses after the fact, and that's largely what I'm going to be talking about. I like did my best to come up with, you know, maybe what I was trying to get at, or like also just like the things I think it did really well. So I think it did offer something interesting to the Eat the Rich subgenre, and I would actually argue it does. So it was fun, but it was also trying to show us something important that in our current political landscape needs to be noted. That is that being evil is a choice, not an inevitability, not an inherent corruption, but a choice that is being actively made by those in power. Granted, the children don't account in that scenario because all they have as examples are these horrible adults. But when you get older, the ideal situation is you would go out to the world, you would travel, you would witness other human beings that are not like you and of different economic backgrounds, where you would learn differently and then choose to do better. And I think a big issue with a lot of the rich people of today is that they've been in the world and seen other people and then still feel no empathy because it benefits them. So they choose to continue to be awful. So Ready or Not 2 gives us a real example of we understand, but we do not accept, which is the characters of like Ursula and Titus. We get that their dad sucks. I don't really care what their motivation was. They were evil and they needed to go. But that understanding does not remove accountability. And even if that's at the hands of their own greed and selfish actions, I also like kind of appreciated it that it was like their undoing was themselves. Like Samara was doing stuff or Grace was doing stuff, but like they dove in the pit, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So I think there is definitely pieces of it that probably could have had a bit more to say about the class war, but also it was just really fun and really interesting with the choices that both our protagonists and villains made. So this film toes a line between humanizing our rich people and making them kind of ridiculous, which I think has a positive and negative spin to it. In one way, I really appreciate this because some human evil generally does just come down to making selfish choices and bad parenting. If being good or bad is a choice, it shows the ways in which anyone has the capacity to cause harm. What is different is the level of power we have to wield when we make those choices. And I think a lot of the cult of capitalism depends upon us believing we'd all make the selfish choice. We'd all sign the contract with the devil. The ideal is what justifies the harm that many wealthy elites make. It's like if I was in those shoes, I would do the same thing because that's the cost to get to the top. Ready or Not 2 shows us that that foundationally isn't true, which I think is needed to be said in this day and age, especially like the fact it's spoilery, but like the fact she doesn't is a big deal.
Yeah.
And it shows that that choice isn't an inevitable thing. Like I think a lot of people will be like, capitalism is just, well, you gotta do that to do capitalism. You don't have to do that. And the problem is that people excuse away terrible decisions that actively harm people for the sake of, well, anyone would have done that. No.
Yeah. Well, it comforts them.
Yeah. But it's also like how people will like justify evil rich people too. They're like, well, it's hard to be in charge. You know, like the CEO mindset. No,
it's so easy.
So yeah. There are ways this film could have taken the mean daddy subplot with Ursula and Titus and become a problem, I think, also, in that sometimes humanizing the villain too hard is what removes accountability and perpetuates that harm. If rich people are a Kardashian-esque fascination or a Trumpian horror show, this feeds the idea that their harm is entertainment, not real. Like the fact that Trump started as a reality star, I think, is a lot of why his witnesses to the atrocities he commits like it's so, well, it's just Trump being Trump. He's crazy, he's gonna go do that, like, yeah, what are we gonna do? And it's like, you impeached a man because he got a bloat, like, what are we,
right?
Why is he still there?
Right.
So I digress, but I think it's largely because we've made an entertainment of his awful, and like other rich people and celebrities, we like make a spectacle of their harm, and that removes some accountability from their actions because of the spectacle of it. It gets ratings, it gets views, there's no bad press, etc. So it suggests redeemability. And while empathy is essential, there is also should be like nuance and discernment to the empathy that we give. Like we can understand but not accept. And I think that's like sometimes people, or it's like you think of like the Batman idea, which Batman might be a bad example, but like he's like, I won't kill the Joker even though the Joker keeps killing people.
Right.
It's like, so there has to be an end to the amount of murder that we're going to allow to take place before we're like, that's a problem, we need to stop that.
Right. If you murder a murderer, the number of murderers don't go down unless you kill 2 murderers. Right. Batman, you're just one guy. You're just one murderer. You know?
Yeah.
I think
literally. We get like there's nuance and discernment to all things in life. Nothing is a black and white situation. Like everything has nuance and things that you need to like figure out. But in this case, the harm in the room.
Right.
So if we forgive away atrocities without removing their platform and power, accountability is missing from the equation. It's like the films where they're like the rich guy gets like absolved at the end. He still gets to keep all his money and his title. But they're like, oh, he learned his lesson. It's like, no, he needs to lose the money and the title. Otherwise, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like if we're not going to kill the bad people, like you need to take away their power to keep doing harm at the very least. So there are definitely instances where humanity as a whole will redeem villains too much. And I think that's a piece of how we got here in the first place. If we equalize our rich, we can also validate their presence and existence within the system. And it makes a comedy of the harm that they perpetuate, which I think is harmful and allows them to continue to hold power. But Ready or Not 2 luckily does not do this. It does a great job of our villains finding an ending that feels justified and of their own making. It spins the idea that instead of evil being inevitable, the inevitable winner, that their fall is what is inevitable. All that is needed was for someone to be met with that power and instead make the right choice. Mamdani, the mayor of New York, is a great example of this. For years, we have been told that once you enter that seat, there's nothing you can do. You sign the contract with the devil. You don't get anything done. You sit there, and now you're being bought out by all these companies. He flipped that on his head and said, actually, we could have chosen to be good this whole time. Right. The Democrats have been lying to you. Like, or like, you know, a lot of political parties, but specifically like the kind of like moderate state where you're like, oh, we can't do anything. The Republicans keep stopping us. It's like, no, you just needed to not be corrupt by APAC. Yeah, like other companies buying you out. So he essentially acts as like a counter identity to that, showing that the failing of many of our politicians is the charade that is inevitable. So a benefit of humanizing our villains is it shows that to defeat them, we actually may not need supernatural powers or monsters, which I also think is something that Ready or Not kind of suggests. Like if they are these comical, ridiculous, equally fragile creatures, human just like the rest of us, that explode when Mr. LaBelle or whatever. Yeah, like this makes the real villains of today feel more beatable outside of the systemic end of things. Like obviously the systems are things that need to be dismantled. But if Jeff Bezos is just a guy who just happens to have a lot of money and power because he's actively made harmful choices, the idea of dismantling his empire and defeating him feels a lot more real and possible.
Yeah, he's just a guy. Hit him with your car.
Dude. Yeah. Gabe, you can't say that on TV. Okay. But so if capitalism is actively asking us, if given the chance to achieve immense power at the cost of your soul, would you take it? We can tell it no. Because while capitalism argues anyone would jump at that chance, Ready or Not 2 gives us an example that choice to say no is always there. It shows that, and it's like you can't excuse that away. It shows that you cannot dismantle the problem from the inside, and that the only real choice is to walk away from the system entirely. Where she's just like, I don't want it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go bond with my sister. I haven't seen her in a while. Let's go together. We're just gonna say bye. Together. Let's walk out of this room together. Fuck these rich people. Right. Bye. The next thing I'll talk about is breaking generational curses versus embracing them, because we see these two sets of siblings as kind of the opposites to each other, where one are all the kind of rich people in this equation kind of embrace their generational curse. But specifically, if we're talking about Titus and Ursula, they embrace their generational curse versus Grace and Faith, who heal from it. And that's where I'm like, I think the subplot, at least in that capacity, was interesting, because I'm like, you get to see the contrast in the active choice not to heal and the choice to heal. Even though it was like kind of, yeah. So another interesting piece of this film is it continues to play upon human choice, and we see this in the two sets of siblings as they grapple with this generational curse on opposite sides of the economic spectrum. On one end, we have Grace and her sister Faith, who grew up in poverty and have their own generational curses to break of generational poverty. And like, it's heavily hinted like they've both experienced abandonment. There seems to be 2 points. One when by their parents. I don't really know. We don't get a ton of context of what happened with them. But when I Googled it, it said that they were in the foster system. Yeah. I don't know if that's 100% true, but is it? Okay. Yeah. And then essentially the abandonment act was when that Grace turned 18, she fled, leaving Faith behind because she was younger. But on one end, or on the other end, we have Ursula and Titus, siblings who grew up in this intense wealth and power under a father who clearly did not love them and was high-key evil.
So but weird at the time.
Yeah, and the violence and neglect from their father impacted each of them in different ways, as well as just like the wealth and power. Like they did not have limits set to them other than like around their father's love. So Ursula becoming an additional hand of her father, kind of like reining in Titus, and then Titus, the disappointment that gives into his intense rage and impulses.
Yeah, he was definitely his toxic masculinity, the guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, my father thought I was weak, so I'm going to be strong by hurting people. And I'm like, okay, guy.
Right.
I'm sorry. Like, you're also clearly in pain, probably. I don't know. Like, what are we doing?
Irregardless.
Yeah. So his lack of power or acceptance from his father leads him to wield power in other ways through physical violence, which we alluded to, which was that really brutal scene. And the difference between these two family dynamics is interesting because it really comes down to the intentions of the choices they make. Like, both had hard lives in their own way. But Ursula and Titus, instead of trying to heal from the neglect of their father, their generational curse of this devil contract and like neglect and kind of like pain, embrace it and just like want his approval and seem to make many choices based on excess selfish intentions and like their personal depravities of like impulses that they want to enact. And Grace and Faith inversely make many of their choices based purely on survival. And like, when given the opportunities, actively choose to heal their wounds, or at the very least take steps towards that outcome. Like, we only have like an hour and some change with these characters, so like they don't heal from the pain of abandoning each other, but they actively make steps towards that, you know, outcome, and like actively are trying to do better. So you get to see like this contrast where like the Ursula and Titus are like, I'm playing games, and they're like, we're just trying to survive, and y'all don't get it. Like, you're trying to kill me, but also I've had to try to survive my whole life through all of this like existing and capitalism has done. And as a bonus, the film shows how even well-intended choices made for survival can result in harm, with Grace and Faith's conflict of abandonment. Like, they have that whole like, she left not because she was like, fuck you, I don't love you, you're my sister, bye. Like, she left because it was like for her own survival in her mind.
She couldn't take like her sister. Like,
she was still a kid herself. So it's like, even in just like trying to survive, they ended up harming each other. And that's kind of like the idea that like poverty forces us to harm the people we love, not because we don't care about them, but because we're just so without resources. And like, it's a difference because like all your choices are being made just for survival, and not like because you're trying to be an asshole. So Grace, throughout, even though she's had such little time to process, as she is just fresh off this wedding and the exploding of all of her in-laws, and work through the trauma she's experienced, she takes like accountability for the impact she's had on her sister like pretty quickly. Like, it takes her like a little bit of time to get there, but she gets there much quicker than someone who's like actively being traumatized at all angles, I think would. Usually when you're fresh in the trauma, you can't process that. You're kind of just like rolling with the punches. Your amygdala is on fire and you're having a hard time. But she actually like makes choices where extending past just survival, where she actively puts her sister first, and she finally gets to show up for her sister, even as they're fighting, and put Faith's survival above her own. And in many ways, that's like, that action alone was showing the growth and healing that would take someone like arguably some of our parents like years or a lifetime to reach, to be like, I messed up and I'm going to do differently. We're going to do change behavior here today. She got there really fast. That's really impressive, especially when you're actively in all the time trauma. And instead of just being sorry about leaving when she was 18, she changes her behavior and is there for her sister, which I thought was like a really nice representation of that. Additionally, we get to see the differences between the two family dynamics and how wealth and privilege play their roles in, one, how seriously they take life or death scenarios, and two, how they approach choice and their impact on others. Throughout the hunt, both Titus and Ursula act like they're playing with more, like they're like an animal, like playing with their prey instead of like killing it. The fact that Grace is fighting back is both an inconvenience and a game for them. They're like, oh, this is more fun to do the murder, but also it's like, oh, stupid poor people will just die already.
Yeah.
They're like, what the heck?
So inconvenient.
Yeah. How dare you inconvenience me? My whole life has been nothing but wonderful experiences and no struggle. This is my rich person's voice, if you couldn't gather that. Whereas both Grace and Faith seem to be more like openly emotive and recognize the gravity of their actions like as they're happening. Like they have their little explosive emotional moment. They're like, damn it, all right, let me go find her, because clearly I didn't mean it like that. Like they get the gravity of the situation taking place, and emotion in general feels genuine from Grace and Faith, where Ursula kind of uses like her emotions as a performance to manipulate and play the game more. Like even like after Grace does the fun twist, she's like trying to like get her to empathize with her, and it's like it feels not.
Yeah, you're like
like I'm sure her brother is a monster, but like it's also
like, so are you, babe.
Like I don't believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, literally. Like I don't believe you that you're in any way trying to protect me or care about me at all. Like so she like, and even her brother peeps that like when she has a slapping moment and they're sitting there and they're like trying to unpack that. He's like, what are you doing? You're performing care or anger. Like you don't actually care about me at all, and stop pretending that you do.
Yeah.
So Ursula and Titus in not taking the trial seriously also shows how they are embracing their general curse of like selfishness and greed, and like everything that happens throughout is like them actively choosing to continue to enact harm, not choosing to be better, not choosing to heal. Like when their dad died, they could have done something different.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, let another family at least get it. You know what I mean? Like they had an out. Like he was the one who was impacting them so negatively. They could have chosen to be different, and they didn't. If anything, they were like, let's be just like him. Yay. And that was gross.
Yeah, and if anything, it was like, oh, and we're gonna cheat too.
Yeah, they didn't even play the game fairly. Like,
because if he was alive, he would have been the one fighting.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, it's literally whatever. Yeah, I think there were some clever things that came up in it, and yeah, I did really like the different characters. And as we said several times, like I don't know if we needed it, but I'm happy it's here. You know, like I think it could have gone horribly wrong, right? Like so often sequels do. It definitely didn't, do better than the first one, but I think it's a really great companion piece, and it's something like you could watch 1 and 2 and have a lot of fun and like maybe feel a little bit of the catharsis, and it is fun to like laugh at the idiocy of rich people. I mean,
we've also seen bad Eat the Rich films, like ones that did kind of the other things that I was alluding to, like where it's like it wasn't funny that they were comically evil. If anything, it was like it actively just kind of made them seem like it wasn't a bad thing that they were like that. They were just like kind of a caricature of a rich person. And I feel like there are moments in this film where it could have been that, but by giving them more of a backstory and like more like a motivation, we at least could understand why they were the way that they were, even if we're like, oh, that still doesn't make it okay. Like you still need to be accountable and not be this way.
It's two ways that this could have went. It could have been, them trying to sympathize too much with the rich, or like pulling punches with them, which happens a lot, where it gets like messy in the storytelling because it's like, what are you trying to do? Because you're playing nice. You don't need to be
we can't have both.
And then the other side is like making them bigger than they are too, which can just feel really defeatist. And instead we got like a fun, moment where it's just like, they're just people and they're stupid. They're just idiots too, they're just regular idiots like the rest of us, and so they can be taken down.
If we can all be heroes, we can all be monsters, and vice versa.
Right.
It's all about what we do, and the reason there's such problems is because of the level of power that they have. And if they didn't have that power, they'd be much more equalized to the rest of us, and then therefore more vulnerable.
Maybe see other people as people. But I think it's like overall is a really fun film. I highly recommend. I think you should go out and watch it. Do a double feature. You can watch the first one and the second one. You can watch They Will Kill You afterward, or as a separate thing. I think Grace and Faith are are definitely up there with like favorite final girls. Grace has always kind of been up
it was
there
a fun time.
as some of my favorite fight back folks. And she feels really realistic because she doesn't just like know things, right? She's just not like this like already knowledgeable in the acts of survival. She just is. And I think like her humbling too is fun. It feels realistic. So I think that has always made her one of my favorite final girls, and she keeps going. And Faith was just like also there. She's like, let me wrap you up, girl.
Like
okay, hold on, let me get some alcohol. Sit down.
I will say, if you go into this film wanting to be like a lot more serious than it is, you will be disappointed.
Yeah, that's silly. Don't do that.
Like, it's just a fun time. Don't go into it expecting it to be serious. I think it will lend a lot more to your enjoyment.
Yeah, go have fun.
I think if I went into it with like hardcore media analysis classes, I would have been like, what's happening?
Yeah.
And I maybe would have felt a little different. So I'm glad we went into it for fun. And I would recommend the same for folks. I know we're always telling you to put the glasses on. It's okay.
Yeah, I think these glasses will just be on by default. So like you get it. It's not trying too hard. And I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, check it out. Let us know what you think. Do you prefer Ready or Not 2? What are your favorite Eat the Rich films or series? We'd love to hear about it. We're going to be covering quite a few of these kinds of like, these are just people. These are just way to stop.
Hit them with your car.
No, it's just like, we're just all people, and we need to stop pretending that's not the case, right? Like, let's everyone chill. Everyone get on the same level here. We're all the same. And get over yourself. And when we do that, I think a better place. I think that, let's just see people as people, God forbid. So let us know what you think. As always, leave comments and reviews, like, subscribe, all that stuff, share, and we'll see you next time.
Sounds good.
Okay, bye.
Bye.